type. We've done with the Boolean data type. Then we've also gone through the string data type, right? So the next data type that I want us to talk about is the list. Do you remember what I said last time? What a list data type, what it is? Remember?
The list.
Yeah.
List is to, so when you have, let's say, uh, like a collective noun for, let's say, fruits, then the
Mm-hmm.
list, you can use it to list the types of fruits in,
Mm-hmm.
more like in a string form or something like.
Mm-hmm.
But I know
Yeah,
list
yeah.
is
So list, as you know, list. Even list, when you hear list, what comes in mind is the same as list. Okay. So the list can contain different data type. But like last time I said, we have the single data type, single. Okay. So with the when it comes to single data type, we are looking at number, then we look at the Boolean. And I believe you know what a number data type, what it means. When talk of a number, we are
yes.
looking at
Now we are dealing with the integer
integer and what
and float.
floats. And the last one, which I said is what complex.
Complex.
Okay. So these are, for now, we've looked at this. We've looked at the Boolean. And then when it comes to other data, so these are the simple data type or single data type. So the reason why we say single means that integer is just a single, right? Because one is one. Float 2.2 is just one. We cannot divide it. And if you divide it, it's still one. That decimal is still one. Okay. And the complex data type is still one. A Boolean, we know a Boolean is part of, it's a subclass of what? Integer from our previous class, which is what? Zeros and one. So these are a single data type or maybe a simple data type.
Sure.
Okay. Now the
But
other
you
data
mentioned
type,
Boolean is for true or false.
yeah, true or false, which is zeros and one.
Once,
I hope
yes,
you see
yes.
that.
Yes, I
Yeah.
remember.
So it's part of this. Do you get it? Now we have the other data type, which you've already mentioned it. Okay, I think you mentioned something. Do you remember what you just said?
Mention the list.
The list, but it's part of what we call collection data
Collections.
type.
Yes.
And when we talk of collection, we are looking at what? A group.
Group.
Okay, something not just one. Okay, so collection data type or attribution. Okay, so we look at the attributes or when something can be attribute means that you can look through. Okay, so not just one, something that you can look through, just a bunch or a collection of something that you can look through. Okay, so these are some of them. An example of this, example of collection data type will be the string, okay, list, the tuple, we look at dictionary, set. So these are all collection data type. So why are we saying they are collection?
Because they involve more than one, like a group of.
One. Okay, so if I pick a string like this, you realize that a string may have a different. So if I put a string like name and I assign this to this, you could see that this one is not just, it's a string, but it's what? It's a combination of what? Characters, right?
Yes.
An individual character can be accessed by using what? The indexes. Okay, so this is not single. Okay, so we've done with a string, so you know what that string means, right? So another data type, which is part of the collection data type that I want us to talk about, is the list. So let's say I have list of students. Okay, so list of students. So this is a list of students that I have. Now, between this list of students, let's ask ourselves what. So now this is the symbol for list. So when you see that, this is the symbol for a list, and the symbol for integer is what? This. Um, when we have this one, I can have this one as an empty integer, the int. Now, when you have or anything within the quote, that is also a symbol for what? A string. Okay, so if I have this symbolize what? A string. So this is an empty string, and this
Sure.
one is what? Empty list. So
List.
once you have
Empty list.
something like, talk about list. So now we can check the data type and see that we want to see that print and check the type of the data, which is students, and that should give us list. So you could see this is a list. So I can create an empty list like this, or I can create an empty list like this. Let's say another list, let's say students underscore list by assigning it to this. So this is also a list. Okay, so if we call this one and then I just say print, so print students, that should give me the empty. So you could see that I have the empty string. So this here you can create a list like this, or you can convert one data type to another, like the way we look for int, the float, and then the string. Okay, data to this list. All that I needed to do is that I can come here and place a data. So you see that this is the list, which is an empty. So if I want to put in the value, I can add a value like 1, 2, 4.5 maybe Milo. And then you can also have maybe another list. So you can contain another list like this, which is I'm giving is maybe CD, which is USD, maybe 12 USD, and then maybe Ghana cedi. Okay, so these are lists. Now you can see that I have, what do I have here? What data type do you think this one is?
That's
Integer.
integer.
That, and this one is what? A float.
Float.
Then the string, and then you can see another list.
List.
So a list can contain all the data type. It can contain,
Okay.
it can contain list, it can contain the tuple, it can contain a dictionary
A
and stuff.
boolean.
If I want to have, if I want to have a dictionary, this is the dictionary symbol. So within this dictionary symbol, I can have maybe a key. A key may be first, or let's say name. And then I'll assign it to a value. Okay, so that should be a value of, let's see. Okay, so this is a dictionary. Okay, so now you can see if I want to have a tuple, this one, this is the tuple sign. Okay, this is the tuple sign. So I can have data inside like 1, 3. If I want to have another data type which is set, this is set symbol, but only different is the data. So I can have 3, 4, 5. So now this makes a list. So you can see that a list can contain a different data type. Okay, so that is list. So if right now I want to get individual elements from this, we can pull out. So if I run this code like this, you could see that I have all the items, and this is the list. If I check the data type, you could see that it came as what? A list. Okay. Now, individual element. If you want to access the individual element, we know that you can get it from what? The index. So this one is index 0, index 1, index 2, index 3, index 4. And so if I want to get maybe the first element from the list, so you open square brackets, like the same thing as we did in the string. Okay, so here once I place 0 here, that should give me the value associated. So you can see that I had 1. Okay, if I put in 2, that is the index of this, that should give me the value associated with that. So we see here I'll get what? 4.5. Okay, because I place in 2. Okay, so 2 will be 0, 1, 2. That should give me the value there. So that is how you can access the individual element from a list. Okay, so we use the index to access individual element from a list. We use what? Index to access individual element from a list. Okay, So when anytime you have all these ones, what we could do is that we can just also use the column. So for instance, if I want to slice some part of this one, you can also use the slicing. So maybe I want to get only the number from this. So if that is what I want to do, I can come here and slice by using the slicing digits, and then you come here and place, let's say, 0, and here I'll put 3. And once I run this code, you could see that it will just pick that part. So now you could see that I have what, 1, 2, and 4. So that is what I just did here, just to get a part of the list. Okay, so that is the list. So now you can see here, this is another list. So from here, this is 2, 3, and then 4. So if I place index 4, I'm going to get a list there. So you can see that if I put in index 4 and run, now you can see that I got the list. So if I want to get the access to the individual element from the list, because you are in this list, that is the index. So I've gotten to another list. So you need to call another index. So to do that, you still have to bring your square bracket like this, and then you put which one do you want. So this is index 0, index 1. So if maybe I want Ghana cedi, I'll place in 1. That should give me the value of that. So now you see that I have what, the Ghana cedi here. Okay, it's also going to the same thing. Now you realize that this one, this is this, and then when I move here, that is 5. So if I place 5 here, and then I run this code, you could see that here it will give me an error, and then it tells me that key error, meaning that this one is not a list. Now you can see that at this point, what I have here is what, a dictionary. And you know the dictionary deal with what, the key value pair. So it means I need to use what, the key to access what, the element there. So now instead of 1 here, I'll place what, the key, which is what, name. So once I place name here, that should give me access to the value here. So if I run this code, now you will see that I have what, Kingsley. That gave me what, the value. Okay, I hope it's clear.
No, I didn't really get that part. If you can take it again, where you said where you got the error when you indicated a number or something like that. Like I didn't get that part.
No, I'm seeing that where what do we have here? We know that if I'm here and then it's 4, okay. Now the first point, this, we know that individual element here is, I can access it by using the indexes. I hope that is clear.
Yes. Yeah.
So if I want the first element here, I can get it using what, index what, 0. Here will be what, index 2. So index 1, index 2, index 3. So index 4 is giving me another list. If you can see, this is another list.
Yes.
Okay. So once I run this index 4, you could see that what came is the list. So this is a list. Okay, this is a list. Now I don't want the the total list. Maybe I need one of the elements. Let's say I want the Ghana cedi, 120 Ghana cedi. So if I want it, how can I access it? I still need the index to be able to get the value. I hope that is clear.
Sure.
Yeah.
So here you need to bring another square bracket here and place the index that is there. So it means that you need to stand on the first index before you can get access to the individual. So if I place 1 here, that should give me this, which is 20. Okay. Now if I move on to 5, now you know that 5 is what is
The
this?
dictionary.
It's
Oh,
not
okay,
a
I get
list,
it now. Mm,
it's a dictionary. Okay, and I'm saying that to access a dictionary value, we don't use what? The index to access a dictionary value. So if I run this code right now, it will give me an error. So
I
you will
get.
see that the
Mm,
key error. So it means that the key is not 1. So now to get that one, I need to place what the key to get the value. So this one should be the key, which is name. And that should give me the value associated with that. I hope it's clear.
sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so the same thing if I have a tuple is not a key value pair. A tuple uses what?
Integers.
See the
Mhm.
sign there to be more like the normal bracket sign, right?
Yeah, it's the normal bracket, but that's tuple. That is the symbol for the tuple.
But what
The
about the other
normal,
one, which is like the
this one is
dictionary?
set. It has
Set.
the same symbol like the dictionary, but what does it? A set does not use a key value pair.
Okay, okay,
Okay.
okay.
So that is the difference. Okay. So if I want to get this one individual element here, if I change this one to, let's say, 6, that should actually link me to that. Then it tells me that key error. They say tuple indexes must be integer or what? Slice, not string. Okay, so now here I needed to use, so now I'm inside the tuple. So if I change here to that and run this code, that should give me the tuple. You can see here I have the tuple. So if I want to get individual elements like, let's say, 3, then that should be index what? Index 1. So I have, and then I will place my 1 here, and that should give me access to the 3. Okay, so what we say is that a list a list element can take all data type. So a list can take all data type. You can take all the data type within one list. You can have all the data type within one list. Okay, and to access individual element from the list, we use what? We use the index to access individual element from the list. The same as access individual element from a string, we use what? The index. I hope it's clear.
Yeah.
Sure.
So if I want to access the last element from the list, that could also, I can also use maybe -1. So we know that -1 actually will give us what? This. That is the last element from what I return. Okay, because that is going to give us the last element because we are still using the indices. So it goes the same as we did for the string. Okay, so if I want to get maybe this and the tuple, I can do this. I can do something like this, which is this, and then place in -2. Okay, maybe I want to get maybe -2 and leave this one like this. So that should give me that. If I want the dictionary, the tuple, and the set, then there should be what? -3 up to the last what item on the list. So that will pick this one for me. So you could see that in the list I have what? The first thing is here, I have this one, which is this. Then what came again is the tuple, and then the next is what? The set. Okay, if I want this, another list should come. Then I'll change here to 4. So this is how you can access individual elements from the list. So all that we did in the string, you can still apply them here, because we spend a lot of time there. So I don't want to waste time here, but it's the same thing because we are still using the indexes. So it's the same thing as we went through. But just that here, when you go to maybe one list and then there's another list and you want to, then you need to have another square, open square bracket, that will give you access to another element there. Okay, so now -4 give me this. So if I want access to this one, I can just come here, because I already know that -4 gave me this. So if I place in, let's say 0, that should give me access to that element
12
of the
dots.
12. Okay, I hope it's clear. So either you go by the positive or the negative. And then one aspect of this is also, we learned about the length, right? So if I want to get the length of all that we've done, so that should be the, maybe print the length of the elements. So I can place in the length function here and then put in my variable, which is the student. So that should give me the length. So if I run this one, you will see that the length is 8. So it means that I have 8 elements inside my list. So for instance, if I want to get the access to the middle item, what do I need to do? From what we did yesterday. So I want to have access to the middle. Mm. So anytime you hear middle means that is the half, okay, is the middle of something. So when you divide it to 2. So like I said, we are not interested in the decimal. So we use what? The floor division. So I can use the floor division here by 2. And that should give me half of this. So you could see that I have 4. So if I place this code, the length by 4 here inside any of this, so that should give me half. So if I come here and I place the length of this inside this, okay, so this should give me that. Now you can see that I have what? 4. So when you count here, when you count here, so we have this one, we have this, which is the money aspect. So this is 1, 2, 3. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is the middle. Okay, so you could see that this is the middle, and then I have another 0, 1, 2, 3. But when you check critically, you could see that if I'm counting from here, 1, 2, 3. Okay, now you could see here 4. Then I count here 1, 2, 3, 4. I hope you get it. This is 1. This is 2. This is 3. This is 4. If I'm counting from here, this is 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So how many different do we have?
8.
What?
Is that how many what?
Like different, if we are counting, it's 8.
8.
It's 8. So what will be the middle? Which item will fall in the middle?
Let me see. 1, 2, 3,
Maybe two. One,
4.
two.
12 and
Milo and
120.
then
What?
I think 12 and 120.
Okay, so now you will see here
Milo.
one.
In between, okay, in between name and 120. GH 120 and name.
Okay, so now we have 1, 2, 3, right? Right. This is 1, 2, 3, right? And then
yes,
when you
Yes.
count, this is 1, 2, 3.
three.
So in
Yeah.
between,
Milo
the middle are the middle and what?
and then
Yeah.
the
Milo
So
and which
this is
one?
what
the
Milo
12
and
and 1 is a one thing. Like it's a
Okay, yeah.
yeah. So this is where the middle comes
list
in. So now
within.
you
Yeah.
see that even the
Okay, yeah,
middle,
I get it.
we have two items which is appearing in the middle, right?
Yes.
So we cannot just see that 120 and this is the middle. Do you get it? Of course, this is the middle, but then Milo 2 is in the middle, right?
Yes.
Yes. So this is where mathematics comes in. So here you will have a condition just to check that if maybe if the uh, if the item is even, it's even means that possibility that you will have two middle is high, right?
Yeah.
Do you get it? So in that case, we will write the code in such a way that if maybe it's odd, so you can say that when you do that and it's odd, the divisible is odd. Now you check the item here and check that when it's odd, then it means that you are going to have what? One middle item. But then if you do it and then it's even, definitely your middle items you are going to have what? Two. Do you get it? So in that code, that should pull out what? Both of them. That should pull out Milo and then this. So how do we do that? To be able to get the Milo and this. And this is where the mathematics comes in. Because now I've gotten this. So if the twos are this, then you need to do something so that you'll be able to get the output as just not just one, but you're going to get the two of them. Okay. But I just want you to just think about it. You can just think about what I just said. Okay. Now, the next point that we have to look at is now we'll be able to know the data type that this one can take. Like we know that the data type that this one can take all the data type. Now let's see that how do we add information to our list. So I have a list and I want to add another information to it. You already know that when we query the information that we have here, the down, that gave us all this information. So if I want to update, let's say, number 1 to maybe number 5. So what that you needed to do is that you call for your string. So let's say update list. So this is how we can update a list. This is how you can update a list. So
So the
I need
update is
to,
a function. Oh, okay. Oh, you're making a comment.
yeah, update is a fine. So I'm just giving um
A comment before.
just for. So now to do update, you call for your students. So that is the sorry. You call for your students list, and we know that this student list is here. So where do I want to update? So I want to update the first element. So now the first element will be index what? What will be the first element? What index can we give to the first element? What index?
I'm saying 0.
Yes, in the 0. So the first element is in the 0. So now based on it, in the 0, we have access to this. So now I can assign a different value to in the 0 by say, let's say 5. So if I run this code, this is going to update that for me. So now I'll come down there and say print students. So this will show that you've just updated that. So now you can see that I have 5 instead of 1. So I've updated that. So this is how you update. So we can update any of this, okay, by using what their index. You can only use the index to update what a list. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's see that I want to add a new item to the list. So now when you want to add a new item to a list, so let's see, adding a new element. A new element to a list. Okay, so when you want to do that, there's different way that you could do. So if I want to add the element to the list, but then where I want to add it, I want to add it at the end, maybe at the end of the list. So we use a function called what append. So we append a new what element to the list at the end. Okay, so append means that you are assigning a new element to the list at the end. So that's why we still use the dot operator to call. So anytime you use the dot operator, it means that we are calling for a new word. These are methods. We are calling for a new. For now, you don't understand the difference between a method and a function. So you can either say function or a method. That is okay. But when we get higher, you understand the difference between a method and a function. So let's say method. So I'll call for students and I'll say dots, like the way we did to the title and all those things. So when I say dot append, so now I'm calling the append method. Now what do I want to append? So now you place your element in there. So maybe I want to append 20. So now this 20 will go to the end of my list. Okay, so once I print the list again, that should show that 20 has been added to the list. So if I come here and then I run this, you could see that 20 has been added at the end. Okay, so use the append, it add the element to the end of the list. You could see that I have my 20. That is append. So append, add it, element at the end of the list. Okay. Now there's another one that we can also use, and that is insert. So insert means that we can insert elements anywhere.
Hello, Kisley.
Yeah.
I'm really struggling. My eyes, like I'll do those
Mhm.
small, then I'll check awake. So what I want to do is that I want to log off and then you send a recording and then
Okay, okay.
I'll try. Yes, because I'm really struggling to keep my eyes open.
Mhm.
Okay.
No
Tisa,
problem.
Ochame who?
Yo, Dinkudim. Sure, sure,
Yes,
sure.
sir.
Okay, so now where we've got into is that we've done the
Insert.
append.
You said insert.
Yes, so now we've got into the insert. So if I want to insert element anywhere in the list. So append does that at the end of the list. So anywhere in the list. So we use what we call insert method. So now I will come the same way and say student dot insert. So now if you are going to insert, you need first the key. So maybe I want to insert it at the beginning. So that will be in the 0. So I'm going to, so what it does, it's going to shift what is already there. You know that in the 0 was 5. So if I'm going to insert at in the 0, it's going to shift what was there. So now this 5 will go to this 1, and that will be there. So now I'm adding, let's say, a string like key. So this is the index, and this is the
The new
value.
one. The new one you're inserting.
Yeah, the new one. So once I'm done with this, and then I'll
You
come
print.
down there to print this one, you see that this one has been inserted at that position. So you can see that I have what key.
Key. Okay.
Okay, the 5 has been shifted to there. You can decide to change this one to, let's say, 6, and run. So you can see that it will take that position. So now you can see that I have key here. So that is insert. So insert means that you can insert it anywhere, but you decide the index or the position where you want to insert the
Yeah.
elements. So that is insert. Okay. And we deal with what we call concatenation. I hope you remember the concatenation and all those stuff,
Yes.
right?
Joining two strings.
Joining two strings and stuff. So we can also join two lists. Okay, so if I have list one,
So
and
we use the
then
same concatenation.
we can use the same concatenating to join. So one is going to be added to another. So for instance, if I have a list. So I'm going to give a different list. Uh, let's say hobby. The hobby is the list, and then I'll put in programming. Then I have football. Okay, and then I have another list called, let's see, job. So job, or can be a profession anyhow. So job can be electrician, doctor. So now these are now. So if I want to join the two, I can have another variable and just use that and see full pro. So these are another variable that I just give. Okay. So
If
this
you want
one is
to join the two,
yeah,
hobby and job.
yeah. So now that would be hobby, hobby, and what,
Job.
job. Okay. So when I print this, it means that this one is going to append, the job is going to append at the end to what, the hobby.
Yeah.
Okay. So once you come here and say
Full
full,
pro.
sorry, full underscore pro. So once you run this code, you will see that this one will be added. So I have programming, football, electrician, and what, doctor. So you
Yeah.
can see that yes, we've joined the two. Okay, and we can also join the two by also using extend. So we have here another method called extend
Instead of the concatenation.
instead of the concatenating and the plus operation. So you could use, so here is what, using, this one is using plus operate. Okay,
Yeah.
so that would be, and then if I want to use the extend, so that means that here I'm going to extend the job to copy. So what that you do is that you just have to say that you just have to just use that copy, okay,
Yeah.
dot extend. So here you don't need to create a different variable, and then extend what? Extend job.
Job.
Okay. So now here, once you run the code, that should do the extension. Sorry, I should have read a comma to separate the variable from the string. Okay. So now once you run your code here, you will see that we have this. Okay. So all that I needed to do is that I can just come here and print the same thing, but this time I will use what, using the stem.
Okay.
So I'm going to print what,
So if you had just
all,
said print into brackets full pro without the adding using the plus operation concatenation, would it have count?
No, no, this one is just a description, just to let you know
Uh-huh.
that I use the I use the concatenation, the plus sign for that. That's why.
Okay, like a comment.
Just like a comment, something description for you to know
So
what is
like
this
a
one.
comment.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just a
Okay.
description. And
Okay.
here too, I'm just using extend. So now you
Okay.
can see it using extend. Now this one has been added to. Now you can see that I have programming, football, electrician, doctor had been added to the hobby. The hobby. I hope you get it.
Yeah.
So that is the extent. So when you are using the extend, you don't normally need to create another variable. You can just extend to the already existed. So I'm just extending job to hobby. So when now I print hobby, I should see job added to hobby. But I hope it's clear.
Yeah.
Okay. So all that we are doing here, we have a lot of we have a lot of properties that we need to know or learn from. So, for instance, I can just clear this space. Now, we've created a variable called hobby. So now, if I go to help, I believe you know what this one does, right?
Yeah.
So help, let's say hobby, which is we know. So let's look at some of the properties of the list that we can use. Okay,
Okay.
so you could see that is actually giving me, because I've run that code there. So now let's see that a list. So help. So that should give me, oh, why this. Okay, so let me type that one here. So I have a list here, name, and then I'll assign it to empty list like this. So if I come here and I call for help name, that should, why this is giving that. Okay, so let me write it down here. Okay,
Okay.
I don't know why it's doing that. So now I can come here and say print help Then inside of this, I have my copy. Okay, so here is just showing the other one. It was just so now you can see here. Let's look at some of the
Functions.
that we have. Most of the things that we are talking about them. Okay. So now you can see here, you see here that they append. I hope you can see the append.
Append. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Self object.
So just append an object to the end of the list.
Okay.
Okay. That's it.
Let me
And
see.
then
Insert.
we can use clear. You can see
Uh.
clear. So we can use clear, it remove all the element from the list.
Okay.
Okay, so we call the clear method. It remove all the elements from the list. It's like you deleting everything, but you just leave the empty list. Okay. Then the copy. So like what we did here, you could duplicate it by using the copy to copy like the shadow or the shallow copy of a list. Okay,
Mm,
so another way we can say duplicate. Okay, so you
okay.
can use the copy to duplicate what uh, a list, and then you can also count the elements in the list. Okay, so if I want to count like what we use the length, so now I can count like maybe let's say the number of twos or number of ones in a list. So that
Okay.
will count that particular value for you. Okay, so to count the return the number of occurrence of a value. Okay, so you use that to do that, and then we can do the extend what I did. So
Mm-hmm.
extend a list by appending element from another attribute, which I told you that is an attribute because it has a different word. It's a from a group that you can what you can get individual elements. So not just a single. So you can iterate. So from attribute. So any list or whatever is an attribute. Okay, and then you can also get the index. So for instance, we know that the first item is in the zero. So for instance, if you don't know, and you use the index and you place the
The
item
the
to
actual was the same as mutable.
what?
The you say it's a is it iterable or something? Is it the same as
Mm,
mutable?
no. It's not the mutable. Mutable simply means that you cannot edit its state. So when you say that something is immutable, it means that you cannot. But if it's mutable, you can edit. So like a list is mutable. Okay, a list
Mm,
is mutable. Okay, because you cannot edit what its element. So you could see here, you could see here, uh, a list. What we are seeing here that a list is attributable simply means that it's a list that you can what attribute each element. That attributable simply means loop. Okay, you can loop through each element. That's what it means. Okay,
okay.
so you can go run each element and be picking one by one until you are done with all the elements. So
Okay.
maybe I'll go run when I see two, I'll start and I'll pick it out. I'll go again and I'll pick the next one. I'll go again, I'll pick the next one. So we call that every list is sequence. So now you can see that the built-in immutable was sequence because it follow a particular pattern.
Mm,
You get it? So it's a mutable word sequence. That means that so that's why we can generate a numbers. Okay. So every list is a mutable sequence and it's attributable, meaning that you can what go run each element and be picking each element one by one. Okay.
okay.
Instead of coming as a group, I can go run iterate through, and then picking individual elements out. I hope
Okay.
it's clear.
Yeah.
So, for instance, let me give you an example. Iterate means that you loop. So I can loop through this one. I can just loop through. Let me come here. Okay, let's go down a little bit. So now here, I'll just write let me comment here. Okay, now I have a list here. I have a list here. You could know that what that this one contains. It contains the name of what? The list student. How you see the list student?
Yes.
Okay. So if I want to iterate through, I can write a loop, let's say for students in students. Now don't worry, we've not done a for loop, so if you don't understand, don't worry about it.
Okay.
Just want to explain attribute to you. And I say print students. Okay, so what this one means is that it's going to print individual element after the loop. So it will go run student and then pick the first item, go run again. So that's what it means. But when we are done with then we get to loop, you understand. But this is what that trait simply means. So once I run this code, now you can see that it brought individual elements. So you can see that 5, 2, 4.5, and you can see how you've seen that I've gotten all the elements.
So it sort
Just
of
one.
itemizes them
Yeah, that's in sequence. That is,
in sequence.
you realize that it's in sequence.
It
Yes.
doesn't put it in the line form. It puts it in a like straight sort of vertical form.
If you want it to be a line form, you will do that. Okay,
Mm,
you will do that. I think we did that, right?
yeah.
The print, or not you, your class. Not your class, right?
Which one? The well,
Like you are saying
I didn't
that
get
you
you.
want. I'm saying that I thought maybe we did that.
Which one?
You were saying that if you want it to be in a line form,
Okay, then we've not done
and
that
I'm
yet.
not under your class.
No, we've not done that yet.
Okay, so this is what if I want it to be in the line form. Maybe you will get there, you understand. For print has a new line. By default, it has a new line. Okay, so if maybe I want it to be in one line, I can say that n will be assigned to a string. So meaning that I want everything to be in one line. So you can see that then you have 5, 2, 4, then you will see all this one showing like that. Okay, but if you don't have this one, we will get there maybe, but I will understand the print function very well. But here it's going to mean that when you print, it move individual after printing the first one, move to the next new line. Okay,
Okay.
so this is how this one will be. So now I go to new line. After printing the next, move to the next line. By default, that's how print function has been designed for. But when we go into print function, you understand how to change the default to what you want.
Okay.
Okay, so this is what we call iterate. So now you'll be able to iterate through to get individual elements. Okay, so we see that a list is iterable.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
then the follow a particular word sequence. Okay, because we realize that there's a sequencing here, like for following the sequence. Okay, okay, so all that we have to do here is to master the properties of the list
Mm-hmm.
that we use to change the behavior of the list. So now you one of them, I think we've done the some of them. Okay, we've done the insert. You can pop. So what did pop do? Pop remove the element. So now here you can remove and return item in the list in at the index. So here if I add the pop and I decide not to add anything, what it does is that it's going to what remove. Now you can see here, when you see here, by default it start with the -1. So -1 tells you something. What are you doing?
Um, the last
The last what element. So for instance,
element.
if I did not specify by default, if you did not specify the index, like maybe index, we should pop index 1 and then you leave it empty, then by default it's going to remove what the last what element, which means that the last element had been assigned to what index 1. You know, index 1 start from what the back.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's how it works. Okay, now we can also do remove. So we have remove there, which we can use. So remove is also going to remove the first occurrence of a value. So if, for instance, if I have 2 appearing maybe 3 times, it's and then I place in remove 2, it's going to remove the first one. Okay, so that it will remove the first occurrence of what? The value. If the value does not exist, then it will throw what? Value error. I hope it's clear.
Yeah.
And then we can do reverse. So reverse, we can reverse the arrangement of everything. We can do the reverse, and we can also sort. Okay, we can also sort that. So for sorting, you can sort a list in ascending order and return null. Okay, so these are some of the properties. We've done the index, extend, the count, the copy, and all those things. So these are
Mm-hmm.
some of the properties that at least you needed to know. Okay, so for instance, if I want to do clear, what it means is that instead of maybe extend, like you see here, I will just say clear. So instead of doing this, I can say dot what clear. Okay, and that is going to clear everything. So now when you print, you can see that it came as empty. Did you see it's empty?
Yeah.
So now because I've cleared what copy, so now you can see here, if I want to use what you call a pop, and here you can see that I did not specify anything here. When you check here, pop copy, the last is what football, right?
The
So
list
now when you run this code, yeah, when you run the code, you could see that what is left is what
programming.
programming. So it means that it has removed what the football.
Mm-hmm.
Do you get it?
Yeah.
If I specify the index, which one that I want to pop, okay, and I put in the 0. So that means that I'm saying that it should pop what the first. So now you can see the football is there. I hope it's clear.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we can also do what we call reverse. Like I say, reverse. So if I'm going to reverse, that one should be clear to you, right? From our previous class.
The reverse.
Yeah, so it's going to change the arrangement. So
Okay,
if
okay,
I
sure, sure,
say
sure. Yeah,
that's
yeah.
reverse,
Maybe
so
back to
that should
front.
change. Yeah, that should change that. So now you will see that football will come first before the
First,
program.
okay.
Okay, so that is reverse. Okay, so you can
Yeah,
do the reverse, you can do what that you want to do. Okay, so these are the properties that comes with what the the list. Okay, like
yeah.
what we do for the string. When it comes to the list, this is what comes to the list. So now I can get a new list. I can assign index to. I can insert. Okay, I can append. But I know that if I'm going to append, it's going to go to what the last what
The last element.
the last element. So that's where it's going to join. And you can do pop. You can do clear. Okay,
Yeah,
you do all these ones. These are the properties that comes with the list. Okay, so when it comes to the list, these are some of the things that you need to know. And one thing that you also need to know that a list is what mutable, meaning that you can what you can edit
change
each
or
element,
edit.
each element. You realize how we were able to update because it's mutable. That's why we were able to update.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then it's attributable because you can get individual elements.
Individual. Okay.
Yes, so we realize that how we were able to use the for loop to iterate individual elements, and then we also know that it follows what is a mutable word. It follows it's a mutable word sequence, meaning that it follows step by step. Okay, like the arrangement follows the order. There's a particular order that is sequence. So you follow that sequences. Okay. So these are what you need to know about a list. Okay. So you know that you can use a list to store different data type value or for different value. Like you can use a list to store integer, you can use a list to store float, you can use a list to store a string, you can use a list to store tuple, you can use a list to store dictionary, set, all the data type you can use a list to store. You can use a list to store a list self. Okay,
Yeah.
and then the list, to create an empty list you can use what the list method. Okay, that is the callable. So this is, you can use this one to create empty list like this. So here I am going to create an empty list. Okay, so that should give me an empty list, and then the list symbol, you can create the same empty list by using this. Okay, so if I come here, so this is the list symbol. So as you can see here, that's the list symbol. So you can create all that. Do you get it? And
Yeah.
if you want to add an element to it, you can just use the append to add element to it. So I can do
Mm.
append one, and that will add an element to that. Sorry. Now here, because I'm printing it, that's why I came now. Because I'm just printing it. So we can just do it outside the print and then just call that. So now when I see dot append, that should append that. So if I come here and I use the 1, so now you can see that I have the 1.
Okay. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
so yeah, so this is what that you needed to know about the list. Okay, and you can sort the elements. So now you can see here I have maybe, if I have an element here, a different value or different data type, like here I have elements here that like the one that we just created, like maybe 3, 4, 8, 10, 20, 1, 5, 2. So you could see that it's not in particular order.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if you see this code here, you could see that this is how it came. So I can just sort this one out by just saying sort. Okay, so you could see that I can just come here and see that empty underscore 1 dot sort.
Mm-hmm.
So this sort function here, when you do that and then you clear this, you will see that it has sorted as what?
But why is the one? Why is the one at the end?
We say what? Now you could see that I have what? Just one, because I've inserted another one. You know, I did insert one.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So just that one, that after the sort I did insert, that's why the one came back.
Because of where you put the.
See
Okay.
that
Okay. I get it. I get it.
the sort is up before
Up
the
before the
uh,
yes. 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 I get it.
that's why you see the one is at the back. Okay. So you could see that this one has what arrange it in what
Orderly, sequential order.
what the highest. If maybe I want to reverse it, okay, maybe change it that it should start from the highest to the least, and that one you could just say reverse, okay, equals to do true. So if that, now you could see that it came here 20, 10, 8, 5, okay, up to the 1. Okay,
Yeah.
because I'm doing that reverse is equal. So you're going to reverse the
So,
output.
so
How do I
why didn't the first sort it didn't do 1 1 2, but the one was at the end rather.
which one?
The sort when you were sorting it out, that I said why did they add the one to the end? You know, he said because you appended the one. But why is it that this one is making it 2 1 1? But that one didn't say 1 1 2.
You already know that I told you that the sort here, the sort here, you know, programming, it move by sequential.
Yeah.
Okay, so the sorting took place at what? At line 29, if you see. And
Mm.
then I came and I append at line 31. So this one has already taken place.
Okay.
Do you get
Okay.
it? So I'm printing this one will not be the same. Where I'm printing it, it will not be. If not, I can just print at that side so that you see the difference. So I'll print where I'm doing the sorting. So I'm going to print where I did the sorting. So this one, copy here and print at line here. So now you can see the difference. So now you can see here,
Mm,
this
yeah.
is the sorting, and this is where I add the append.
Okay.
I hope it is. So
Yeah.
now I see that reverse equal to true. Okay, so true means that it should change the order, because when it without this one, if I say reverse equals to false, that means that I'm saying that it shouldn't reverse.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so that should give me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, up to the 20. So you start from what? The least to what? The highest.
Okay.
So we did the reverse. I hope you saw what the reverse did.
Yeah.
Okay. So now if I say reverse equals to true, then I'm saying that it should reverse the output to the. So if it's that, because when it does the sort it in what by default the list will come before the highest. Okay. So when I change it to reverse equal to true, then I say that it should change the order. So this is going to change the order for me. I hope it's clear.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what that you needed to know when it comes to, for
The
now,
list.
for basics. I think you have this, it's okay. And if you want to go through the functions, like the methods, what are they, we can just do help, and it
Help.
will take
Okay.
you there for you to do some of them. Like this one, I did the help. It just took me there, and then I just explain. I use it to explain it to
So
you.
in when you are also doing the programming too, so you when you are confused or you
Yeah,
can use
yeah,
the
you can use the
function.
help to get more. Yes, yes.
Okay. Okay.
I like that one more than going to Google.
Okay. Yeah.
You see, now here, if I come here and then I go to list, so that should give me more information about
Okay.
the list. Okay, so now you can see here, these are all the properties. Now it will tell me what the list, what it does, and some are the property that comes with. Okay. So like what I'm giving you tells you that list is an attributable, okay,
Okay.
and it's a mutable sequence. Okay. If no argument is given, the constructor creates an empty list like what I just showed you. So when there's no argument in the list, like this one, a list like this, it creates empty list, which I use to create an empty list for you. Okay, it creates an empty list, and the argument must be an attributable if specified. Okay, so that actually give you more information about them. Then you can now follow up. Okay, so you can see that. Oh, then we come to the properties. Okay, so these are the properties: append, the class, declare, the copy. I can count elements, I can extend. So for instance, if I want to count the elements here, you can just count the number of ones. Okay, so here you append. So if I want to count this one, I can count here dot count, and I'll place the one there, and that's going to count. So if I do dot count, and then I place one there. So once you run this code, that is going to count the number of ones. So you see that because